The battle for Bhawanipur has hit fever pitch. Today marks the last leg of campaigning and the ugly war between the TMC and BJP has peaked on the streets of Bhawanipur. Former BJP Bengal chief Dilip Ghosh, who was on a door-to-door campaign, was heckled, shoved and pushed by the TMC goons. Things got so tense that Ghosh's security then whipped out their guns, warning the mob to move away and let them pass. TMC supporters refused to allow Dilip Ghosh to enter a lane, and that sparked the violent clashes in Bhawanipur. BJP has alleged that TMC workers have attacked their workers and are blocking their campaign. Injured BJP workers were taken on stage during the campaign as party cadre alleged that TMC goons had attacked them in Bhawanipur. The Saffron Party has demanded that the by-poll be cancelled, and the BJP has also moved Election Commission over the violence. The voting in Bhawanipur will be held on the 30th of September and results will be out on the 3rd of October.
सिचुएशन बहुत नाजुक है. इलेक्शन कमीशन कुछ नहीं कर रहा है. इलेक्शन कमीशन को तुरंत कार्रवाई करना चाहिए. के पूरा हालत बहुत नाजुक है. सिचुएशन डेमोक्रेटिक तरीके से चुनाव होने का माहौल भी नहीं है, लेकिन भाजपा वर्कर आखिरी दम तक ये चुनाव लड़ेगी और हम लोग जमीन नहीं छोड़ी.
दिलीप घोष क्यों सब पर आक्रमण हो रहा है? गणतंत्र नहीं है. ममता बनर्जी का चुनाव हिंसात्मक ही चुनाव है, क्योंकि हिंसा को खुद प्रश्रय देती हैं, इसलिए ये चुनाव हिंसा का ही चुनाव है.
पथसभा चल रहा है. पथसभा में हम लोग थे डायना साइड में, जहाँ पे है आगे वाला मोड़ है, एक पटवापाड़ा मोड़ है, वहाँ पर दिलीप दा को घेर करके विक्षोभ किया गया, उन पे अटैक किया गया. जितने युवा मोर्चा के कार्यकर्ता लोग हम लोग यहाँ पर थे, वो लोग सब उठ करके हम लोग उधर गए. जब हम लोग उधर गए तो जाकर के देख रहे हैं, वहाँ पे 150 से ज़्यादा गुंडा लोग ऑलरेडी मोड़ पे खड़ा है. जब हम लोग पे युवा मोर्चा कार्यकर्ता के साथ गए तो धक्का मुक्की करना शुरू किया. वो लोग उधर से धक्का देते आया, लेकिन यहाँ पर कोई बांस शायद उसको मिला. बांस से पहला बार मैं ऊपर में यहाँ पे अटैक किया. अटैक करने के बाद जब हम बैठे तो देखे चारों तरफ से लोग घेर करके ज़बरदस्त मारधाड़ करने लगा. मारधाड़ का कुछ नक्शा ऐसा भी यहाँ भी है. एक्चुअल में यहाँ पे भी दर्द बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है और इवेंचुअली ये पोर्शन भी दर्द दे रहा है और आँख तो खोलने ही नहीं दे रहा है.
এই বিজেপি করছি বলে আর কোনো দোষ নেই আমার. আমি কোনো গুন্ডা নেই, কিছু নেই. বিজেপি পার্টি করছি বলে.
I am at the moment in Bengal, in Kolkata. The fact is that Mamata Banerjee is nervous about this by-poll. She has already lost from Nandigram, and she knows that if she loses in Bhawanipur, her political career will come to an end. And that is why the TMC is resorting to what they are best at, basically unleashing violence. You have shown visuals where the security personnel of the leader had to whip out their weapon because the mob was going out of hand. They attacked not just Dilip Ghosh but also Arjun Singh and several other leaders who were campaigning. I want to tell the people of Bhawanipur through your channel that Mamata Banerjee is fighting a last political battle.
No, 2 of our karyakartas got injured. They were heavily beaten up and now they have been taken to the hospital. And this is what TMC goons and TMC workers have been doing in this election. For the last so many days that we were campaigning for our candidate, Priyanka Tibrewal, in many places we have seen the TMC workers ghettoed us and they want to create this environment of fear, and that is what they are trying. They want to show the people of Bhawanipur blood so that the elite class, the Bhawanipur is a very elite place. So these elite people who are staying in flats and buildings and bungalows, they fear to come out on 30th. Come out and vote, because TMC knows and Mamata Banerjee knows that if these people come out and vote, they will only vote for BJP and she's going to lose. So this is the reason they are doing it very strategically.
You have the right to go to door-to-door campaign, but you don't have the right to open your arms publicly. This is not Godhra, this is not Bhatpara, this is Bhawanipur. And the people of Bhawanipur, they are ready to give the befitting reply. And the befitting reply, giving the befitting reply has started. Already it has taken place. I congratulate the Trinamool workers to maintain peace. They were really peaceful.
Okay.
And the peace-loving citizens of Bhawanipur, I congratulate them. But the befitting reply will be given on 30th September. BJP gets ready for it.
Now, less than 24 hours after his return from the US, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made an unannounced visit to the construction site of the new Parliament building. The impromptu visit is now the centre of a huge political row, with Congress calling it a PR stunt. Take a look at this report.
Hours after returning from a 3-day hectic trip to the United States, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reached Delhi's Central Vista worksite, where a brand new parliament building is under construction. With a safety helmet strapped on, the Prime Minister reached the construction site unannounced and without his usual security cover. He spent about an hour at the site inspecting the progress of his dream project. What followed was first-hand inspection of the upcoming nerve center of the country's power center and interaction with the officials and construction workers, many of whom looked awestruck. The Prime Minister even posed with workers for photographs and went through the construction blueprint, touring several floors of the under construction site. The opposition, which has been vocal in opposing the new 971 crore rupee parliament structure, was quick to target the Prime Minister, calling his surprise visit a publicity stunt. BJP defended the visit and accused the opposition of unnecessary politics on the subject.
ये जो जायजा वाली तरकीब है, स्ट्रैटेजी है, प्रधानमंत्री क्यों नहीं जो किसानों का धरना हो रहा है उसकी साइट्स का जायजा ले, उनकी बात सुने। प्रधानमंत्री केवल देश को टेलीविजन की नजर से देखना चाहते हैं, कैमरे की नजर से देखना चाहते हैं, पर जो देश के समस्याएं हैं जो भाजपा ने पैदा की हैं उनको लेके उनको उनके समाधान की विजन नहीं है।
हमारी सरकार, हमारी पार्टी कोविड के इस संकट काल के दौरान भी लोगों से मिलती रही, लोगों की मदद करती रही, सैनिटाइजर, मास्क, दवा बांटना, लोगों को राशन वितरण करना। तो जो काम किए वो दिख रहा है। ये तो खुद कोई काम करते नहीं, घर पे केवल बैठकर ट्वीट करते हैं, बयानबाजी का काम करते हैं। ये इनका बयान पूरी तरह निराधार है।
AIMIM chief and member of parliament Asaduddin Owaisi alleged that the Prime Minister's visit to the parliament site was in violation since he didn't have permission of the speaker. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had recently inaugurated the newly built defense headquarters and targeted those slamming the Central Vista project.
जो लोग सेंट्रल विस्टा के प्रोजेक्ट के पीछे डंडा लेकर के पड़े थे, वे बड़ी चतुराई से, बड़ी चालाकी से सेंट्रल विस्टा प्रोजेक्ट का ये भी एक हिस्सा है। 7,000 से अधिक सेना के अफसर जहां काम करते हैं, वो व्यवस्था विकसित हो रही है, इस पर बिल्कुल चुप रहते थे।
The new parliament building, which will have an area of 64,500 square meters, is expected to be completed by 2022, enabling the parliament session in December under the new roof. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, war over Muslim votes in poll-bound Uttar Pradesh. All India Majlis-e-Ittehadul Muslimin AIMIM National President Asaduddin Owaisi said that the condition of Muslims has become like a band baja party in a marriage procession. Hitting out at political parties for using Muslims as a vote bank, Owaisi claimed that Muslims are first asked to play music but are made to stand outside on reaching the wedding venue. He added that Muslims in Uttar Pradesh don't have a single leader despite contributing around 19% of the state's population. The BJP hit back at Owaisi, accusing him of misleading Muslims and cozying up to mafia dons like Mukhtar Ansari and making them icons for the Muslim community.
भारत में मुसलमानों का मुकाम अगर एक है, क्या है हमारा मुकाम? हमारा मुकाम एक बैंड बाजे की पार्टी की तरह होकर रह गया कि जब इलेक्शन आता है तो हमसे कहते हैं कि बैंड बजाओ, सेकुलरिज्म को बचाओ। और आपने देखा होगा कि शादी की बारात जब निकलती है दूल्हे के घर से तो दूल्हा घोड़े पर होता है और सामने होते हैं बैंड बाजे वाले। और जब दूल्हा उस मुकाम पर पहुंच जाता है जहां पर उसकी शादी होना है तो बैंड बाजे वालों से कहा जाता है कि तुम इस मुकाम में अंदर दाखिल नहीं हो सकते। 19% मुसलमान उत्तर प्रदेश में, एक किसी को नेता बनाया आपने,
असदुद्दीन ओवैसी मुसलमानों की दयनीय स्थिति के लिए जिम्मेदार आप जैसे नेता हैं। पहले कांग्रेस ने, फिर सपा और बसपा ने वोट बैंक बनाने के लिए इनकी ये दशा कर दी है। उत्तर प्रदेश में और पूरे देश में मुसलमानों का आइकॉन ओवैसी किसको बनाना चाहते हैं? अतीक अहमद को, मुख्तार अंसारी को। और जिस समाज में आइकॉन ऐसे अपराधी और माफिया होंगे, उस समाज की क्या स्थिति होगी?
The Enforcement Directorate is questioning Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot's brother, Agrasen Gehlot, in Jaipur. This after the central agency had issued summons in alleged illegal export of subsidized fertilizers. According to the ED, Agrasen allegedly exported over 35,000 metric tons of subsidized fertilizers worth 130 crores to foreign companies instead of distributing it to farmers. The ED registered a case of money laundering after the Customs Department filed a charge sheet in the case on July 13th. 2020. He was summoned before the ED earlier, however, he had not appeared before the agency. The Rajasthan High Court had put a stay on Agrasen Gehlot's arrest last week on condition that he would cooperate with the ED's investigations. Meanwhile, Congress has alleged that the ruling party at the centre has been trying to indulge in witch hunting by targeting close aides of Rajasthan Chief Minister. High-tech cheating incidents have come to the fore during the conduct of Rajasthan eligibility examination for teachers from several districts of the state. One such incident has been reported from Sikar, where the police caught a candidate who had come from Bikaner and had a mobile phone fitted in his slippers. He also had a hearing device in his ears, which was linked to the phone via Bluetooth. Preliminary investigation has revealed that the accused had paid 1 lakh rupees to a copycat gang that had arranged the slippers fitted with the phone. A similar incident has come to fore from Ajmer's Kishangarh area, where cops detained a candidate who was caught with a Bluetooth device hidden in his slippers. Taking the matter seriously, Ajmer police asked the exam centers to have candidates remove their shoes or slippers before entering the exam hall.
जो कैंडिडेट है वो डिवाइस से जो उसकी चप्पल लगी हुई है नकल कर रहा है, तो इस पर वहाँ तलाशी ली गई और तलाशी लेने से उसकी जो चप्पल थी उसमें पूरा मोबाइल का जो सेटअप था वो चप्पल का जो तलिया है उसके दोनों के बीच में मौजूद था। और उसने कान के अंदर बिल्कुल छोटे छोटे डिवाइस लगा रखे थे और अभी उसको अनुचित परीक्षा अधिनियम में और धारा 420 में उसको अरेस्ट किया है।
मैं और कलेक्टर साहब सभी सेंटर्स को चेक कर रहे हैं और हमने निर्देश दिए कि सभी सेंटर्स पे कैंडिडेट्स बिना जूते चप्पल के प्रवेश करेंगे। ये केंद्र अधीक्षक को निर्देश दिए हैं, क्योंकि अभी एक किशनगढ़ में एक केंद्र पे एक कैंडिडेट की चप्पल में कोई डिवाइस मिला है, कान में कोई ब्लूटूथ मिला है, उसको डिटेन करके पूछताछ की जा रही है। इस बारे में सभी को अलर्ट कर दिया है और सेकंड पारी में और एहतियात बरती जाएगी। जूते चप्पल अंदर नहीं ले जाएंगे, वो भी 200 मीटर दूर रखेंगे कम से कम।
All right. Former Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has taken the Taliban jibe at the BJP days after a similar attack by Bengal Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee. Siddaramaiah has also attacked the Bommai government in Karnataka over inclusiveness, saying there is no Christian or Muslim face in the Bommai government. He called it a betrayal of BJP's slogan, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Continuing his blistering attack against the BJP, he said the BJP are Talibanis and one must be very, very careful about it. This is the second time this week that the BJP was compared with the Taliban. Bengal Chief Minister, while campaigning in Bhabanipur, alleged that under BJP's rule, people have lost their freedom, adding that one cannot allow Talibanization in India. Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai responded to Siddaramaiah's statements and accused the Congress of being a party of slave mentality.
ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನರು ಒಬ್ಬರು ಕ್ರಿಶ್ಚಿಯನ್ರು ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವರು ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಮಂಡಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ನರೇಂದ್ರ ಮೋದಿ ಸಬ್ಕಾ ಸಾಥ್ ಸಬ್ಕಾ ವಿಕಾಸ್ ಎಂತ ನಾಟಕ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ ಅವರು ಈ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸುಳ್ಳಿನ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರಿನೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟವ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳೋದು ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ 100 ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ಸತ್ಯ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಹಿಟ್ಲರ್ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು तालिबानिगळे बीजेपी बी केयरफुल
हम किरण उनको गिराएंगे हम आम जनता को आजादी देंगे
মনে রাখবেন আজকে স্বাধীনতা চলে যাচ্ছে দেশে, আমরা হিন্দুস্তানকে তালিবান বানাতে দেব না, মাথায় রেখে দেবেন। আজকে ইউপিতে লোক কথা বলতে পারে না, পাঞ্জাবে ভয়ে লোক কথা বলতে পারে না, ত্রিপুরায় পারে না, দিল্লিতে পারে না।
TRS MLA Ramulu Nayak has come in the spotlight after a bizarre comment comparing his party workers to Taliban. Nayak advised TRS party cadre to consider Taliban and Naxalites as role models during an address to workers gathered in his constituency, Vaira, on Sunday. Nayak said that when the whistle blows, they have to hold stick and party flag as a weapon and fight for the party like Taliban and Naxalites. He added that TRS party is well trained for war. However, Nayak later corrected himself and said that the party workers are not like terrorists and that the party is good with trained soldiers. He also added that the party had KCR and KTR as weapons.
ఒక ఏలు వేస్తే చాలు రోడ్డు ఎక్కాల్సిందే, కర్ర పట్టాల్సిందే, జెండా పట్టాల్సిందే. ఆ పక్కనగా ఒక ఉద్యమకాలు దాని ఏమంటే ఒక తాలిబాన్ టైపులో కావచ్చు, ఒక నక్సలిజం టైపులో ఆ ప్రకారంగా ప్రతీకారంగా రోడ్డు ఎక్కాల్సిందే తప్ప మనం ఏదో నలుగురు పట్టి చేతులు బట్టి రోడ్డు ఎక్కిస్తే అటువంటి వ్యవస్థ టీఆర్ఎస్ పార్టీలో కుదరదు.
Already the Telangana people have suffered enough with Razakars and we don't want another Taliban movement. This kind of statements is unpardonable, condemnable. We wonder, the Bharatiya Janata Party wonders, is it Telangana Rashtriya Samiti Party or Taliban Rashtriya Samiti Party? We demand an apology from Honorable MLA Ramulu Nayak.
RSS weekly magazine Panjanya is at it again after accusing the IT pioneer Infosys that it supports the anti-national forces. RSS organ has now hit out at the e-commerce giant Amazon. It terms Amazon as East India Company 2.0 in its latest edition, which has hit the stand on October 3rd, and highly criticizes the e-commerce giant. It said in the article that whatever the East India Company did in the 18th century to capture India, the same is visible in the activities of Amazon. The RSS organ also claims that Amazon wants to establish its monopoly in the Indian market. It alleges that Amazon has established many proxy entities and there are reports that it has distributed crores in bribes for policies in its favor. This is the second such attack on Behemoth.
Amazon पर लगे हुए जो आरोप लगे हैं वो वास्तव में बहुत गंभीर है। इतनी बड़ी राशि केवल वकीलों पर या कंसल्टेंसी के नाम पर खर्च करना कितना ठीक है, सरकार को इसकी एक समुचित जांच करनी चाहिए और 5 जने के द्वारा तथ्यों पर आधारित ये जो रिपोर्ट है, ये जो खबर है, इसका कितना बड़ा असर भारत के छोटे व्यापारियों पर हुआ है, इसकी भी जांच होनी चाहिए।
ये सवाल अमेज़न से होना चाहिए कि आप क्या गलत करते हैं कि जिसके कारण आपके कंपनी के अंदर से आवाज़ें आती हैं कि आप घूस देने का काम करते हैं। हमने सोशल मीडिया पर देखा बहुत सारे ऐसे ट्वीट्स हैं, पूरे ऐसे ट्रेंड्स हैं। तो ये पैंतरेबाजी जो है, इसी तरह की पैंतरेबाजी तो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी की थी। आपकी संस्कृति पर आघात करना, आपके व्यापार पर कब्जा करना, लोगों को एक तरह से गुलाम बना लेना, बिना बेड़ियों के लोगों को गुलाम बना लेना, उस तरीके का काम करता हुआ अमेज़न लगता है।
यह कंपनी एक तरीके से हमारे देश के आर्थिक तंत्र पर कब्जा करना चाहती है। इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि जो ये शब्द उपयोग हुआ है ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी वर्जन 2, वो एक प्रकार से आई ओपनर है ताकि हम समय रहते समझें और इस प्रकार के जो प्रयास हैं उनको हम रोकने का प्रयास करें।
What the RSS says about Amazon is irrelevant because there is a duet going on between the RSS and BJP. We've seen that duet. They stand exposed in the farmers' agitation. We've seen the dubious role played by the Bharatiya Kisan Sangh. They have not for one day come to the support of the farmers who've been on the roads for the last 10 months. So nobody takes what RSS says seriously anymore because they don't talk the language of in national interest. They talk in the interest of the BJP.